WBNE.
Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by Perspective Z.
The brand new WBNE show!
The brand new WBNE show!
Oh my gosh, the show's not brand new. There's a huge back catalog you can listen to. But if you were ever like, man, I wish there were like some really experienced Gen Zers who made a podcast about their perspective on the world, who'd been doing this for like years and had like all this perspective that they could bring and just weighed in on trending topics just to know like what's going on. Like, by Perspective Z or by Generation Z for
everyone.
It's fantastic.
There's a trailer for it right here.
Have you ever wondered what Gen Z was thinking while half the generation was eating Tide Pods?
Or what those gosh darn kids are up to these days?
Well, then you should check out our podcast, Perspective Z, hosted by me, Rachel.
And me, Katrina. We discuss pop culture, politics, and everything in between, and give you our perspective as two Gen Z ladies trying to figure out our place in the world.
Listen along to hear our thoughts and opinions as we gear up for college and beyond.
So make sure to check out new episodes of Perspective Z every Monday on the WBNE network at WBNE.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now on Spotify. Toodles!
Rachel and Kidsy are the best. You're going to absolutely love Perspective Z. All right, let's do the intro to our show.
Yeah, let's do it.
I need to drive that script. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Chill.
And today we're making hit records.
Or maybe we're just waiting in a rehearsal room.
So get the boy a microphone.
And don't step on my shoes.
Because today we're bringing you
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was directed by George C. Wolfe. It is the either second or third of Denzel Washington's trip through August Wilson's Century plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the what is it called?
The Pittsburgh Cycle.
The Pittsburgh Cycle. This is the only one that takes place in Chicago.
Was filmed in Pittsburgh, though.
Filmed in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
If you're unfamiliar with the Pittsburgh Cycle, it is a series of 10 plays set in different decades from 1900 to 1990, and they're all written by August Wilson, and Denzel Washington is producing 10 movies based on those 10 plays, and this was the second one.
Yep.
The first one was
Fences.
About the 80s. No, not about the 80s.
About like the 40s.
Yes, 50s. Fences is 50s. Let me get back to the script here. It came out 77 days ago on November 25th, 2020 on a $20 million budget. It's a Netflix release, so we don't really have a box office idea of how it did. It got a 98% critic rating and a 76% audience rating and an 87 on Metacritic. I'm not interested in a negative review, but Ethan, do you have a positive review for this film?
It's so interesting that you say I'm not interested in a negative review, because I did actually want to talk fairly heavily about the negative reviews for this movie.
I'm scared that they exist, right? Because
So there's 5 of them on Rotten Tomatoes.
Chadwick Boseman's final film.
I will give you one guess as to who didn't like this movie. Without looking, I will give you one guess as to who did not like this movie.
Richard Brody.
No,
he probably did. This is his alley.
I don't have a Richard Brody review here. I do have a review from one. His name starts with A and ends with Armand White.
Armand White?
He's
the dude that doesn't like anything.
He's the dude that didn't like anything, though. And he wrote the worst review I've ever heard in my entire life about this movie. Like, just absolutely, like, his opening paragraph, he spends the whole time, I read the full thing, by the way, because it was so galling to me. But
that's his game, though.
He spends the opening paragraph talking about how ugly Viola Davis is.
That's Ma Rainey's not supposed to.
As if that's like her job in the world is to stand there and be pretty or something.
Viola Davis is beautiful.
Yeah, but like, that's not the point.
Right.
But I do want to highlight one extremely interesting negative review here. And this is listed as a Rotten Tomatoes negative review. It's from Dustin Chase of the Galveston Daily News. And he said, Davis, proving there are no limits or boundaries to her work as a performer, is monumental in every way as Ma Rainey.
2 out of 5.
It feels more like a play and less like a film every time she is off screen.
I can feel that, but also it's supposed to feel
to feel like a play.
It's supposed to feel like a play also when she's off screen. Like I think it was directed in this way on purpose, where when she's on screen, we're outside of the green room, so it feels bigger.
Yeah,
it's supposed to do that.
Yeah. So this is the kind of theater that is. Well, first of all, do you have a positive review for me?
I actually didn't pull one up, but let me see if I can get one. Or actually, if you want to get one, I have something I can do while you're doing that.
Okay.
So February this month, we're doing this movie because obviously Chadwick Boseman's final film. It's the first week we've really had a chance, and it's Black History Month. And I want to highlight a poem about the subject of today's film. The poem comes from Sterling Brown, whom Ebony Magazine once wrote was the literary historian who wrote the Bible for the study of Afro-American culture. So he knows what he's talking about. In 1932, he wrote a poem about Ma Rainey, which would be included in an anthology that won the Lenore Marshall Poetry Prize 50 years later. So the poem was written in 1932. It did not receive acclaim until 1980 when the anthology was released, and in 1982, he won the award. And the reason that it didn't win acclaim, and this is interesting to me, this is Black history I learned today doing research for this episode, was within the Black community as a whole, or the African American community as a whole, rural African American culture was not celebrated during the Harlem Renaissance the way that urban African American culture was, which makes sense, right? Because there's obviously easier communication in cities and things like that. So very fascinating to me that this poet, this historian was also a poet this whole time, but he got no credit for it. And yeah, his poetry didn't focus on the Harlem Renaissance and urbanization. It focused on rural African American culture. He wrote a poem titled Ma Rainey. It's 4 stanzas. Stanzas are the breaks in poems, right? And then there would be verses in a song. Yeah. And I do just want to read the 4th stanza. It is a poem from the perspective of a Black audience at a Ma Rainey show. So if I don't hit the dialect quite right, there's a reason for that. But this is the 4th stanza. I talked to a fella, and the fella say, she just catch hold of us some kind of way. She sang Backwater Blues one day. It rained for days, and the skies was dark as night. Trouble taking place in the lowlands at night. Thundered and lightning, and storm began to roll. Thousands of people ain't got no place to go. Then I went and stood some old lonesome hill, and I looked down on the place where I used to live. And then the folks, they naturally bowed their heads and cried. Bowed their heavy heads, shut their mouths tight, and cried. And Ma left the stage and followed some of the folks outside. There wasn't much more the fellow say. She just gets hold of us that away. And it's just about the blues and the time period. I thought it was fascinating. Thought it was very interesting. Little highlight of Black history here on Bacon and Eggs, where we probably have the most to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
I thought it was so good.
This is fantastic. Have you seen Fences? You should watch Fences.
So go ahead and read the positive review.
I'm working on it.
I can probably pull one up.
They're like, I don't know. There's not one that's like hitting the way I want it to.
So Christy Lemire at Film Week, KPCC NPR Los Angeles, writes, you never forget that you're watching a play on film, but that's okay because the dialogue snaps and leaps. It's so intense and so exquisite, and yet the emotion beneath it is real. And this follows a theme that's frustrating in these reviews for me, positive and negative. I like that I'm watching a play on film.
I was trying to avoid, and honestly, that's the problem. All these positive reviews of this movie mention that. In a positive, all the reviews in general mention that in a positive or negative light. This was the kind of thing that when they made 12 Angry Men, people were like, you really got inside the play. Like, you really felt like you were watching it on screen. And that was like the reason that's considered one of the great all-time movies, right?
Right.
But because it doesn't fit that particular bill, and I'm not pointing fingers as to why, because this movie doesn't fit that particular bill, it's a bad thing all of a sudden that it feels like a stage play.
Maybe it's because I love stage play dialogue.
Oh, there's nothing better than...
Right, because you have to think that like a stage play, in order for it to like win Tonys or be successful in New York, I understand that there's an audience for it. So same with opera. But it is not the masses. People don't want to go to a play because there's no singing and dancing. There's no costume. Like, maybe there's costumes, but there's not the flashy costumes.
Right.
And even musicals are not for the layperson. Like, I do my Chris test. Would Chris go out of his way to see this? Probably this, yes. But Chris is our best
dial
friend.
Back a little bit, my guy.
Dial what back?
The gain.
The gain? Okay, I'm
blowing
dialing
me out here.
Would Chris go out of his way to see a Broadway musical? I don't think so. Would Chris go out of his way to go to New York to see a play? Almost definitely
Absolutely not. Yeah.
If I pitched him this play and I said, we're going to New York for Ethan's bachelor party and we're going to see this while we're there, I think he'd be all in.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would like go out of his way for it.
Granted, that being said, I'm probably there's few exceptions, for sure. But probably I would not go to New York for the purpose of seeing any play.
Why is that?
I just feel like, so not that you're any, Joe Schmo local theater company is going to deliver the same kind of Broadway performance, right? But like you can, and I've never seen a Broadway play. I've seen Broadway musicals, never seen a Broadway play. But like I've come out of plenty of D tier plays and been like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It's the dialogue. And the reason, this is why I think it is, because in order to get, this is the whole point, in order to get your play on Broadway, it has to, like without music and without dancing, it has to have something that's that
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like I wouldn't trust Mill Mountain Theater to stage this play. But I would trust Mill Mountain Theater to stage a play, right? And I would go watch it and I would get something out of it.
Right.
I would not trust them to stage Wicked
Or Hamilton.
or Hamilton.
Right.
Right. So like if I'm going to go to New York, I'm going to see a musical, right? I would say it's definitely it's what I prefer, but I don't want it to be what I prefer. Like
we were talking about this yesterday, how like what I want to like and what I like are always at odds.
But this is the opposite of that case, right? This isn't like, oh, my friends like this, so I want to like this. This is like every time I read or watch a play, I'm like, drama is the best thing
Yes.
ever. And I just don't experience it enough, right?
Right.
Because especially during, like you can listen to the original cast album of Hamilton and get the vibe, right? Like you can watch it on Disney Plus and get the vibe. You cannot get the vibe of this as a stage play.
No.
Or anything else as a stage play. Like I can't queue up Disney Plus and watch Angels in America. Like
No, and I would, if I read this, I would not like it. I can tell you right now, if I read it as a book, that'd be one thing. If I read the script, I'd be like, I don't get it. I don't know what it means to study somebody.
I truly think you would, actually. I think the dialogue in this is like masterwork level.
This is
like,
one of the things I love about every time we do study African American history is the way, like even the poem that I just read, I don't want to superimpose myself on the dialect, but everything is so phonetically written out that if you just read it,
yeah,
you like accidentally do.
Right. That's absolutely true.
And I actually really like that because you can like read the inflection, like they spell the inflection in the writing, which I think is interesting.
That is especially true in Black theater and Black poetry.
Yes.
At least in this century, not this century, the last century. Well, and this century, but like the last 121 years.
Right. 1900 to present.
Right. I was born in 1993. I still assume that it's that century, even though that's less and less the case every single day.
I know. We're in the new roaring 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. You go read like a Langston Hughes poem, and like it's you cannot separate the language from you cannot separate the dialect from the language, and that's the whole point of especially that sort of brand of poetry and this sort of brand of theater. This is like truly at first I thought she was never going to show up.
So you didn't know the play?
No.
Okay, me neither.
I'm familiar with I had to read something out of this series in college.
Did you read it like in Spanish?
No. It was for
I asked because you studied Spanish.
No, it's for one of my modern language classes. Spanish. We had to read it was all about poetry and like theater as poetry and everything as poetry.
Gotcha.
So I had to read one of these. They're all pretty short. They're not one act plays, but they are pretty short. Mm-hmm. But I had to read one of these out of the Pittsburgh cycle, and it may have been Fences, honestly. That was the sort of the popular one at that point. I mean, it still is, I guess, because
got a movie.
Well, and Denzel Washington and Viola Davis both won Tony Awards for it in 2010.
And Viola Davis won an Oscar.
Won an Oscar for it as well. Denzel was nominated for best director and best lead actor. But yeah, so Denzel Washington was like given he was in the revival of Fences in 2010. And then was given the rights to like all of the movies by August Wilson's estate. And they were just like, here, Denzel Washington, you did so good at this, you can have all of the movie rights for all 10 of these plays. He's like, I'm going to make 10 movies then.
Make 10 bonkers good movies.
Yeah, apparently.
2 for 2 so far.
2 for 2 so far, yeah. They were all supposed to come out, like, he was going to do them, he said, one a year on HBO, and that obviously fell through.
Because this is on Netflix.
This is on Netflix, yeah. And Fences came out as like a movie.
Which, by the way, I feel like we haven't addressed if you haven't seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, you have to.
Oh, yeah.
It's 85 minutes on Netflix. Its build is 96, but there's a lot of credits. You have to go see it.
Yeah, this is a 1.
Yeah, this is a 1.
Oh, we should do scores.
We should do. I give this 100. Easy.
You give it 100?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I don't feel qualified to knock this for anything. It was awesome.
Okay, calm down.
What do you give it?
I was going to say like a 94. You just got like an angry look on your face there.
No, it's not that. I just like, I mean, it checks a lot of boxes for me. I love play dialogue, and it stuck to that pretty much to a T. I thought the scenes that were like the scenes where they're prepping for the Oscars and they're like, this is what they're going to show when they do Best Picture. Like, I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually got some like Marriage Story vibes from it.
Great movie.
Like that level of intensity.
Yeah. God, when you're watching Chadwick Boseman, like, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 months before he died, making that speech.
Going nuts.
Making that speech about like, did God turn his back on me?
Oh, I know.
Did you turn your back on me?
So emotional.
Yeah, man, that was...
How much of this movie were you watching? I was like, he wasn't really going through chemo treatments through this. Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was like actively like dying.
Yeah. No, this was it.
Yeah.
But he was giving it so much. And I was also watching it and I was like, I don't see Black Panther at all. I don't see Jackie Robinson at all.
No.
I see
Levy.
Levy.
That's
I
it.
say Peavy, but Levy. I see Levy. And that's all I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I see Levy Green. That's it.
And so this movie checked a lot of boxes for me. One, like, I love the dialogue. I loved the powerful moments. There'll always be a soft spot for me when there's a movie about a trumpet player. I love that.
For sure.
I was watching, I was like, he plays cornet in the movie, but he's a trumpet player in the
Wynton Marsalis playing that cornet.
Is that Wynton Marsalis? I thought so.
I would bet money on it. So Branford Marsalis did the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
So I would bet money that he was just like, Wynton, I need you for like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Yeah. Just come play some blues.
Just come play some blues on a cornet.
Yeah. I think that was a trumpet. I think he just liked the look of the cornet.
I mean, sure, yeah.
For his character.
I couldn't tell you the difference though. Like listening to it, not a chance.
You don't play jazz on a cornet. I know that.
I think, well, yeah, but I think you do whatever you want.
Well, yeah, that's the point of jazz in the 20s, or of blues in the 20s.
Oh, that's the point of blues ever.
Right.
You do whatever you want. That's the same with jazz.
Yeah.
Well, certain schools of jazz.
But watching this movie, I was like, I want to get a real brass colored, not yellow, but like brass colored, sort of deep, rich tone cornet to replace the trumpet on my stand for decoration in this office. I don't think I'm going to end up doing it. But
I've got one.
Do you?
Yeah. Like a Conn-Selmer cornet from like 1941.
That's what I want.
Yeah, you
like
can't have it.
Real orange, not yellow.
Yeah, no, it's like brass, like bronzy.
Yeah.
So no, I get this at 94 or 95. Purely selfishly, like there was a lot of parts of this movie that were really tough for me to watch, especially at this current moment in my life, that I don't think will necessarily be the case in the future, but it just didn't hit for me today like other movies that I would give hundreds to. I will definitely say our system has caused me to reevaluate the way I give hundreds.
So there are other hundreds out there other than It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah, I think so, because the first thing I thought of was Whiplash.
Oh, see,
I don't love this the way I love Whiplash. It's right there, but it occupies a lot of the same spaces.
It does.
But I don't love this the way I love Whiplash, and I just don't love this the way I love It's a Wonderful Life. Like,
I don't think I will. So here's the thing. I give it 100 with almost zero rewatchability. Not because I wouldn't want to watch it again, but like I wouldn't introduce somebody to this movie. Like I cannot imagine a situation where I'd be like, we need to watch Ma Rainey's Black Bottom this minute. Even in the same way that I wouldn't watch like Interstellar with somebody. And Interstellar sucked.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't relate with you there, bud. All I've thought about in the last week was watching Interstellar. I have had no time to. No, I absolutely, within the next 2 weeks, we'll make Caitlin watch this movie.
I told Emily to watch it. She didn't watch it with me, but I
other
told her
thing,
to.
yeah, she's at work while I watched it. Because I literally finished it like as I pulled up to Zoom. But also, and I get that this may be some subtext that I am unfamiliar with. It may be some subtext that I will never get or should not get. I do not think the murder at the end was necessary to this movie. And that was really tough for me to watch.
I think I can shed some light on that, actually.
I felt like the movie made the point it was trying to make.
So, are you familiar with the 1929 blues track When the Levee Breaks?
I'm familiar with the Led Zeppelin song based on it, but no, I'm not familiar with the original.
It's
if it keeps on raining, the levee's gonna break.
Yeah. So that's what
I know the
movie
lines.
is.
Yeah,
that's what the play is.
Yeah,
he is the levee, and it keeps raining on him. Bad things keep a happening.
I don't like the message that bad things turn people into killers.
I don't like that either, and I don't think at the end of the movie anybody thinks he's justified in the murder.
No, I don't think it's about justification either. I think that like he is a bad person and did a bad thing, and I get that he needs to fall from grace. He needs to be so unemployable that they hire a white man to record his songs.
Oh, that hurt. And they really laid it on thick. White people can't swing, but black people can, but they don't have to play with a conductor playing blues.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Yeah, you didn't have conductors back. You had band leaders, even in jazz.
In the 20s?
Yeah.
You had big bands.
Yeah.
But he didn't have
I wouldn't call Cab Calloway a conductor.
I would call the man in this movie a conductor. He had a baton.
But that's what I'm saying is like real musicians didn't need that back then for this kind of music.
Cab Calloway, you want to talk about a singer. Right.
And he would stand up there and wave his arms a little bit and he would turn around and do his thing.
Yeah.
But no, I get that Levee has to break. And I'm not here to criticize the writing or whatever. I thought it was written beautifully. That was just, it was a little too far for me. That's why I'm giving it that 6 points. Because like what I'm not going to do is sit here and say and talk completely out of my butt and be like, well, I don't like the fact that this black playwright turned this black man into a killer. Because like obviously he's trying to say something that I don't understand, may never understand.
I think,
but I can see a lot of people trying to outwoke that argument and being like and saying exactly what I just said, but in earnest.
I think there's also plays written 40 years ago where mainstream African American culture, still to this day more so than in white culture, but I think like the thought of shouting at God in that way was so taboo. Like it didn't bother me that much watching this movie, like seeing somebody mad at God. I thought it was a great commentary of like why were black people so in love with God when
God was just constantly letting things happen to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was a wonderful conversation.
That was one of the best scenes in any movie made in the last 10 years, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Like, you put that up there, just that little passage.
Put it up there with what, Ethan?
With the greatest scenes, like you pull it out of the movie and, like, show it in classes.
Right.
Not
and then you're
film
like,
classes, like intro-level Western philosophy classes.
Right. Film classes, you show that, and then you show Cap catching Mjolnir, and you're like, which one's better?
Yeah, film 101.
Which one's better and why? Like, well, there's a few schools of thought here.
But no, when Cutler snaps back at him and like shoves him up against the wall and is like, don't blaspheme my God, you won't say that about my God. And then he goes on that whole thing about like, I heard what he did. I saw what he did for my mom. That was a hell of a scene. That was a tough passage. That was incredible dialogue writing.
Especially knowing Chadwick Boseman.
That's what I'm saying. It's just even like not that should lend anything to it. Not that we should let it lend anything to it. But like it's impossible to not think of it. Like this man died several months later
from the worst disease.
Right. This man had been dealing with the terminality of his illness for however long.
5 years. Yeah. Which was a really good brownie. Sort of unrelated to the conversation at hand.
No, I love this movie completely. Like this was fantastic. There really is nothing like stage dialogue because it has to be loud and fast and you have to yell over top of each other, right? Like that's how the stage works. See, there's no eyebrow acting on the stage. Right? You can't, it's not about the faces you make.
Right. And what I love about the stage is, in order to make things hard for actors, because that's what you're trying to do. Musicians do this all the time. This is where, bebop came from. In order to make things hard, you give them these, long, hard-to-memorize soliloquies and sonnets that are broken into weird meter because you just, you want to challenge the actor to give their best performance.
Right.
And that's what I love about stage dialogue, because in movies, all too often, a character says 2 or 3 lines of dialogue before a camera cut.
Yeah.
And so if you mess it up, you could spend all day working on that take. And I know that there's budgets and yada, 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 and all that stuff. But for the most part, plays are hard, dude. That's a hard thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought this was a fantastic movie.
That is what I think is so, and this is why I come back to the movie Birdman. What I think is so interesting about that movie is how they weave the play in and out of the movie in the one shots where you'll follow Edward Norton or Michael Keaton through the door onto the stage, watch him give the soliloquy, and then back out the other side in one shot. That's always been incredible to me because it's so many different skills there at one time, but also it goes beyond what is even expected of the stage actors, right? He's reading real lines of dialogue from a real short story as play dialogue.
What's the short story?
We talk about love by Raymond Carver.
Yes. I've there's a disputed theology book called What We Talk About When We Talk About God that I like.
It's Rob Bell, right?
Yeah, it's Rob Bell.
Yeah.
He's one of those writers who, when we were in college, people were like, if you buy into his bull, then you're an idiot. And 30 years from now, it will be his translation that people read. I'm certain of it.
Yeah, he wrote God's Not Dead, right?
The movie?
Isn't that his whole thing?
No, he wrote Love Wins, which is a seminal piece of theology that asserts that
that's the one I'm thinking of.
God would not send people to hell.
Yeah, because he wouldn't.
People, obviously, but people not a huge fan of that.
I'm sure that when I first heard Rob Bell, me as the just out of my going to retreat phase college freshman Catholic kid was just how dare you? How dare you? Not only is there hell, there's secret special hell.
Right. Super hell.
And now I'm just the idea of hell is so stupid and I don't know why anybody ever believed it.
There's no way God would do that.
There's no way God would do that, right? That was the whole point of the flood and of Jesus.
Right. But welcome to theology with bacon and eggs.
Well, as soon as Chadwick Boseman started doing that speech, I was like, we're going to have to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, we've talked about God before.
Oh yeah, no, we had Kevin Garcia on here and left the episode uncut.
I know. It was a great episode. Unless you are young-minded, in which case don't listen to it. Or do. Maybe you'll grow.
What?
I'm talking to the listener now.
What do you mean young-minded?
Young-minded? Maybe just young on the calendar.
If you're like very
There's some,
young,
like,
yeah, but if you're like 14 or 15,
challenge your youth.
please
group.
God, go listen to that episode. That's Kevin's whole shtick.
Yeah. Follow Kevin on Twitter.
If you're a queer Christian, go listen to that man.
I do think it's interesting. I don't know if it's the further I go into my 20s, like and into adulthood, or if it's a cultural shift or both. I do think it's interesting how, like, I don't go to a church and I feel very little pressure to.
Yeah, no, none at all.
Which, like, I didn't go to church when I was growing up, but I felt pressure to.
I went to church growing up, not every Sunday, and they were definitely like mean to me when I would get back from not going for a couple Sundays.
Yeah.
Even if like we went on vacation.
No Eucharist for you.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know what the Eucharist is.
what?
I don't know what that is.
Eucharist?
Yeah.
That's communion.
Oh, communion. Yeah, no communion for you.
Yeah, Eucharist is the proper word for that.
Can you imagine? God would not be like, you don't get bread and wine.
Right.
You don't get my body and blood.
Right.
Did you read the book?
No,
it's
no. Hey, bud, nobody's read the book.
It's like going to Mary Clay, who's our friend who does the Lord of the Rings podcast, going to her comment section on TikTok. And everybody's like, did you read the book? He's like, did you?
Because I know you've read the book, and I've read the book, but we haven't read the book. We
Not
read
the
it
way-
wrong.
Right.
Because I used to believe in hell.
There's no way.
It's
There's
not
just
even
no
in
way.
there.
It's not in there.
It's still not in there. They have not managed to put it in there since then. Like, it still evades them.
I can't imagine telling my children that. Like, I understand the Santa thing, right? If you misbehave, Santa won't bring presents. That's like a white lie that we all have fun with. I cannot imagine that, like, if you misbehave, you will be eternally damned.
If you misbehave and... See, here's where if you misbehave and refuse to repent, to apologize, I don't necessarily know what I believe happens to you.
I think you get the opportunity to.
I think you get the opportunity. I've always thought that. That was how I read it from the beginning, growing up in my Catholic upbringing. That's what I thought purgatory was, is you got to just like try again until you got it right.
Or like stew and just like,
Right, stew and be like,
apologize, but maybe I should.
Or you're sitting around there thinking like 1,000 years being like, oh, it was that thing. Got it. Hey, I'm ready to take the test now. Like, I got it this time.
There's definitely not a test.
And that was how I always thought about it. That's how I always thought about it. It was like when you go and you meet the maker and you repent. And then, but there's the at least to my knowledge, the Protestant way of thinking in some terms is like, you got to repent before you die or you're doomed.
I thought that was the Catholic thinking. That's why they had the boxes.
No, I mean, you can repent whenever and you should always be repenting. ABR, always be repenting.
It's a new bacon and eggs
No,
t-shirt.
it's cleansing. It's cleansing for your soul. I do like the sacraments. I like the
Eucharistic
mass.
eggs.
I like confession. I don't have like the issues that I have with the Catholic Church are not mechanical. They are like fundamental.
I have an issue with the necessity for mass. I don't dislike the sermon. I dislike that you tell me I have to be there and I have to speak the language of the minister and I have to understand and I have to be able to sing in C sharp major.
Well, the church that you saw for my mother's funeral was not the church that I grew up with at all. I don't know who that guy is, but not my priest.
He's still a servant of the Pope Diddley, though.
Yeah. That's sort of why I have issues with the Catholic Church, is that they would make that dude into not just a priest, but like a super priest.
Is he like a...
He's a Monsignor.
Monsignor. So that's still not like a cardinal.
Not like a bishop. It's not like a cardinal. He is like a regular old priest. Like he says mass in a church. He has a church. But he's like, it's like having your PhD in priesting. Except it's not, because I think you can go get like a PhD or whatever. It's not a degree. It's just like it's like having your MBA in
That's a degree too.
Yeah, but you know what I mean though, right? Like,
but like it's like the MDiv for, you have to have an MDiv to preach in most Protestant churches, but like,
but that's what I'm saying is I don't know what the schooling is like specifically. I don't think it's a school. It's like a certification. More like you don't go to college to be a Monsignor. You go to college to be a priest, and then later on you go to like priestly grad school.
So
but there's also like an honorific to it as well.
My undergrad was pre-seminary. All but one class, which didn't matter because by the time I graduated, I decided I wasn't going anyway.
Okay.
I was going to go to Bethel in St. Paul because I love St. Paul. But Bethel is a Baptist college. I just don't think I would have done well.
Yeah, I definitely would not have done well at Baptist college. I mean, the Baptists have historically not seen eye to eye about a whole lot of things.
The closest I think to like doctrine that I would agree with is the ELCA. which is the Evangelical Lutheran Christian Association, where they like let gays preach and let women preach. Of course, I say that and somebody's going to be like, oh, excuse me, Tyler, in 1985, they denied a black man from preaching.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
And I'm like, you know what? You got me. And I don't know the history, and I also don't know the doctrine that well.
Nor do I care to.
But I'm pretty sure that's the closest to what I agree with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do know that, like, when I was in high school, when I was 18, the church that I was attending voted to leave the ELCA because they were allowing LGBTQ and women to preach. They joined the LCMC, which his whole doctrine was like, we don't think women or LGBTQ people should preach. Otherwise, we agree with the ELCA.
Neat.
it was like a 300 to 100 vote. Like,
the idea of that now is so abhorrent to me.
It just makes me so mad. And that was like 2010.
Yeah.
It was not that long ago. And those people are still part of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not like it.
I know.
Also, if you're about to type an angry email to me about why churches should be exclusive to anybody based on gender or sexual affiliation, you can delete the email. I will not read it.
Also, yeah, if you
respond.
have problems with Tyler and I being Christian, we also understand that, and you're totally valid.
Yeah, there's
I don't even know if I
I
call myself a Christian anymore. I used to be. I'm sorry for the people I hurt during that time.
Yeah, I believe in Jesus, came to earth, told us to be good people. You know, he's like, don't be a dick. Here's fish and bread. Here's wine. He was kind of cool. And then he died on the cross and he came back. I believe that. I don't believe Native Americans came to, or Native Americans were obviously here. I don't believe Jesus went to the Native Americans, and I don't believe Islam. Studied that. I didn't jive with that one.
I have no idea. Like I just like I grew up Christian. That's the easiest way for me to explain the afterlife at this point.
The explanation on the afterlife, I'm a little hazy on, but
it's not even that. It's just like I definitely believe in the afterlife.
Yeah,
and that like you should do your best to be a good person during your time on Earth. You should do your best to help others and to make people happy, and like, you know, I can only hope that's good enough, and if that's not good enough, I don't want to be there. And also, like, if I got it wrong, I'm okay with that, right? Like if I spend my whole life trying to exist and I die, nothing happens, like, well, first of all, I'm not gonna care, really, am I? Nope, don't get a second shot. But if I do, and if I am presented with the face of Abraham, or I'm presented with Abraham's not God to the Jews, to Yahweh, or whatever the Jews believe, or whatever the Muslims believe, or whatever the Hindus believe, if I'm presented with anybody else's idea of the maker, I'm gonna be like, hey, sorry, dude, like,
you have to understand how it was sold to me.
That Galilean made a pretty good argument a couple thousand years ago. My bad. Did my best there on Earth. Would just like to say firsthand, my bad. Can I hang?
I think what it all comes down to is like either an all-knowing God would be understanding, or an all-knowing God would be prideful. And I've played The Sims, and I've killed my Sims. But it's more fun when you let them have a fulfilling life.
I don't think when you get to the pearly gates and St. Peter lists off your list of crimes against humanity or whatever, I don't think the one thing that's going to stop you from eternal bliss in the kingdom of heaven is, well, Tyler, it looks like back in 2008, you killed some Sims that you modeled after you and your high school girlfriend, you freaking weirdo.
You locked a Sim in a building with no doors. There's just a bunch of clown paintings.
Yeah,
and then the clown came to life.
Really, we should be. If hell exists, it exists specifically for the makers of The Sims at Electronic Arts.
The only good game they made.
Hey, it made Star Wars Battlefront, my dude.
Not the original ones.
They definitely did.
No, they did not.
They didn't?
No.
They made Madden 2002.
Let's see. Battlefront 2002. Star Wars Battlefront. LucasArts, bro. Pandemic Studios. Oh, that's awkward.
Oops. We really should have seen it coming. Really should have seen the pando coming.
I think we did, right? That's why Obama had
that's why we have mRNA vaccines, because we saw the pandos coming.
We naively believe that with this second round of vaccines, it'll be over.
I mean, that's what a vaccine does.
Yeah, we're going to be living with this bad boy for the rest of our lives.
I mean, yeah. You're going to have to get your COVID vaccine every couple years.
Yep.
That's okay. We'll be all right.
The new flu.
Eventually, it'll die off, just like polio.
The flu's still around.
Yeah. The flu is the super virus. It just keeps changing all the time. But yeah, like, people will die of COVID-19 for a long time. A few people a year.
I'm not thrilled about that. Well, Lip is back, Ethan. Do you see this? This is the biggest news of the week.
I don't know what you just did, but it zoomed me out on Zoom. zoom.
I went full screen. I don't know if that changed
Well,
anything.
it zoomed me out.
Can I zoom in on you?
Like, I
That's
could see
what
more
want.
of myself now.
Oh, let me zoom you back in.
No?
Huh. My Rainey's black.
Yeah, so anyway, that
bottom.
was a diatribe from Tyler and Ethan about whether or not God exists. And the answer is...
Your guess is as good as mine.
First of all, this movie was awesome, though.
I really enjoyed it.
Chadwick Boseman, I mean, I'm not going to say he wasn't one of the greats, but like could have been one of the greats. A capital T, capital G, like...
I mean, it might be one of the greats.
I just wasn't in that many movies.
That's the issue, but like every movie he was in was awesome.
I mean, sure, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like I think had we been gifted with, however many more years of Chadwick Boseman,
We would have just gotten more and more awesome films.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you could.
Let me ask you this: did it stress you out that he was the young one in this?
No. Dude's never looked a day over 30 years old.
No, I know, I know that, but did it stress you out at all that, like, knowing that Chadwick Boseman is now no longer with us, that he was like the youngest one in this crew minus Sylvester?
No, it didn't stress me out. That's life, man. Like,
maybe stress is the wrong word. I definitely noticed
I
it.
firmly understand what you're saying. But this movie did not offer me any sort of like crisis in regards to that, because I've spent the last month of my life being like, man, Mitch McConnell's still alive and my mother is not.
That sucks.
Like, I think about all the people that outlived both of my parents that are way older than them and way here.
Mitch McConnell.
Like Mitch McConnell. So yeah, no, like that's not a feeling I'm super unfamiliar with recently, but also it didn't like just crush me with Chadwick Boseman.
I as a sidebar, a quick delve into American politics. The fact that we do Senate trials for anything, stupid.
Yeah.
We have a Supreme Court.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court doesn't hear trials, which is weird. Like, I don't understand it either.
I feel like you could
I
throw
feel like
it
if
in.
anybody was going to serve up impeachment, but I think that's the balance between the houses, right? Like that's how they solve this. Is like the House impeaches, the Senate convicts.
No, stupid. House and Senate impeach. Trial. Here we go. Jury of his peers. Only former presidents.
He would hang
You even, but
because George W. Bush would be like,
Clinton.
now, Donald, that was not the right way to run this country. I know how to not run this country. That was the bad way.
You did it worse than me, man.
You did it worse than me, Don.
They attacked us. You attacked us.
No, because if Barack Obama got to speak on why Donald Trump shouldn't be president, they'd just be there for the rest of forever.
Oh man, what I wouldn't give.
Both because I think Barack Obama probably has a laundry list of reasons, and also because he talks very slow.
Now, my fellow Americans.
Now, the reason that Donald Trump
It's the
can't be the president,
is the one that he was.
I would
voted
give
out.
anything.
My question is, if we win the impeachment, the trial, and the conviction,
So he
means
doesn't get to be
can't-
president anymore.
Well, right, but he's already not president.
Right, but he doesn't get to run for president ever again.
So that is true, right?
And he doesn't get a library. He doesn't get the Secret Service. He doesn't get the pension. He doesn't get the anything.
Taxpayers are losing on his pension, but I feel that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like he doesn't get our money ever again, and he doesn't get a library. There's no Donald Trump presidential library.
Is there a library for all the other ones?
Yeah,
Where?
All over the place, my guy. All over the
Really?
place. Yeah,
I can go to like the Herbert Hoover Library.
I don't know when it started.
Does the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library have Harry Potter?
Herbert Hoover Presidential Library and Museum, West Branch, Iowa.
Get in there. See if they have a book lookup.
the catalog, the card catalog.
Digital card catalog, Dewey Decimal, and tell me if they have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban in stock.
I don't think
now.
it's like a public library. Like
I don't like that. I think that's stupid. So
right, okay, but like I don't think you go to the Library of Congress and check out Harry Potter either.
no, this is the stupidest thing. Library of Congress, they'll be like, it has every book. I'll be like, really? Does it have Harry Potter? People be like, no, that's stupid. Obviously, it doesn't have Harry Potter. That's every book? It's like 1 out of every 3 books sold.
Okay, but also like the Library of Alexandria wouldn't have had Harry Potter. It's like there's a library is a complicated word. I don't know what they have in the presidential libraries, man. I've never been to one. There's not a president from Roanoke, Virginia, okay? Nobody's built a presidential library in Roanoke, Virginia, and I have never been to like anywhere else in the country to be like, I'm gonna go to the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library.
All right, I'm glad that you're upset. Here's the Library of Congress's website, loc.gov. You can search everything, or you can search audio recordings, books, films, legislation.
Right, yeah, I'm sure there's a
maps.
copy of the Harry Potter books in the Library of Congress, my dude. I don't think you go there and check it out with your Library of Congress library library card. Okay,
I think you do.
Having fun is not hard when you have a library card, but it is hard to have fun at the Library of Congress. Also, if National Treasure 2: The Book of Secrets is to be believed, they lock half the stuff up in there anyway.
You straight up cannot search the Library of Congress. It will not let you.
Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library, by the way, is in Ann Arbor Charter Township, Michigan.
So one of the best searches on Google for the Library of Congress was, does the Library of Congress have manga?
Put that on a t-shirt. I don't know why, but put that on a t-shirt. We don't even have to have a logo on it. We just sell it.
I think that's so good because I don't like manga, but I love the idea that you go in the Library of Congress,
Go to the Library of Congress and check out some Naruto.
Does the Library of Congress have fish with mustaches? Trout.
Okay, but also the Library of Congress has.
Yeah, it does.
What?
We've got a whole bunch of stuff on trout, which doesn't surprise me.
So the Library of Congress holds anything deemed to be I don't think this is all of what it holds, but they're the people that hold one of everything deemed to be historically or culturally significant, right? So that's books, plays, movies, songs, everything like that. But I'm not gonna go down to my local public library and freaking check out a copy of Point Break. That's not how libraries work. Where's the Blockbuster of Congress?
Here's my question. You could go to your local library and check out Point Break. They definitely have it.
That was the most Justin McElroy sentence I've ever said in my life, by the way. I'm not going to go to the Library of Congress and check out, I'm not going to go to my local library and check out a copy of Point Break. Where's the Blockbuster of Congress is one of my finest moments. I'm just going to toot my own horn there.
It will not let me search the Library of Congress for this young British orphan wizard. It won't let me.
Maybe they only have American stuff in there.
It's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Sorcerer's Stone.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
That's how British people would say it with an American accent. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, isn't it?
Philosopher. Yeah, that's how they say that word.
Philosopher. That's why the Christian parents didn't like it. Philosopher Stone.
The Christian parents didn't like it because it was about witches and stuff. And none of them read it because it was about witches and stuff. And then they read it and they're like, this is a delightful tale about basically Jesus.
About Jesus.
Like I said, I remember the shift from not being able to watch Harry Potter because I was going to burn in hell, according to the Catholic Church, to dressing as Harry Potter for a Catholic Church Halloween party. That was my childhood, okay? Tori Wood grew up with iPhones. I grew up with that. I remember when they invented Trunk or Treat.
Okay, so there's a blog on the laws behind the magic of Harry Potter, blah, blah, blah. I need books.
Here's the real question. Is the Pittsburgh Cycle by August Wilson in the Library of Congress?
Almost definitely.
Gotta be.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, book/printed material.
Oh,
Can
this
you give me
man
a
won.
location?
This man got won dumb Tony Awards for all this stuff too.
Yeah.
And got nominated. All 10 plays were nominated at least once for best play.
Okay, if you're curious, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is at shelf PZ7.R79835. If you are in the greater DC area and can safely go to the Library of Congress, I need you to go and take a picture of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire and your library card. I have to know that it's there.
I don't think they have Library of Congress library cards. I don't think you can walk in and be like, hi, can I get a library card?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's the Library of Congress. It's not even
I get what you're saying, but a library is just a room that's got books in it, okay?
Then I'm in the library.
That is
the annals of my library
that
called
is
your
what
name
library
this
means, okay?
weekend.
You can have a library in your home. You don't have to, if you have a library in your home, you do not have to walk up to the freaking checkout desk and they stamp the sheet in the back of it, right? Nobody is plastic coating the dust jackets of your books.
Dude, I would be so pissed.
Yeah, me too. I'd be pissed if somebody put a freaking stamp out sheet in the back of my books.
Do you ever want a system for your books for I last read this on this date?
Yeah, it's called Goodreads.
Yeah, but when I look at my shelf, I almost wanted. I won't do it because that would drive me absolutely insane. I almost want a red sticker for to be read and a green sticker for I've actually finished this.
I just don't keep a lot of stuff on my shelves that I don't read.
I buy books constantly.
The book usually just doesn't go on the shelf unless it's been read.
I am out of shelf space, as you may have seen.
I noticed that, yeah.
I had to reorganize my Pokemon cards today. Why did I say that? I'm not some boomer that doesn't know what my kids are doing. I reorganized my Pokemon cards today so that I could put more books on my shelf.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will say this, when I opened Goodreads and said, hey, Goodreads, I'm reading Aragon. And it was like, hey, you last finished Aragon on December 12th, 2010. And I was like, thanks, Goodreads.
Thanks for the heads up, Goodreads.
Did not know I'd been on this app for at least 11 years.
All I know is in 2014, you gave Total Frat Move, the novel, 4 stars.
Sure I did. Because I remember doing this in our house in Port Warwick. I remember sitting in my bedroom and cataloging every book on my shelf in Goodreads.
I'm so proud of you.
I still have my copy of the Total Frat Move book.
Oh, me too.
It is in a box in my storage unit that still has my books that I carried around with me in college in it.
Did you carry a book bag? Why does book bag feel so wrong to say?
Did I get my book bag?
Did you have a book bag in college? Why does book bag feel so wrong?
It's a backpack.
Backpack.
Because we stopped saying book bag when we were, I don't know, 12?
15?
Yeah, something like that.
12?
I had a backpack in college. I've lost the art of packing a backpack. I put 3 books and a laptop in a backpack to go to your place this weekend.
Did you read them all?
No. Well, one of them was the copy of An Absolutely Beautiful Endeavor that I was giving you.
Beautifully Foolish.
Beautifully Foolish Endeavor that I was giving you. And the other was a copy of Marcus Zuzak's The Book Thief, and the other was the collection of short stories I'm reading. And they're all hardback books, but I'm like, why can I not fit 3 hardback books and a laptop into a backpack? I used to carry around textbooks plural and a bigger laptop in a string bag, in like a spike bag.
Yeah. I didn't know that other people didn't call it spike bags. That's a fun fact.
They're string bags.
String bags, yeah.
In fact, it might only be your family that refers to them as spike bags.
Well, so you used to get them, I don't know if this is an etymology or an origin or anything, but you used to get them when you buy a pair of cross-country spikes. So they were spike bag, obviously.
Yeah, and then starting around, I don't know, 2010, they became swag.
Yeah, where like you go to an event and you get a spike bag.
Because my entire freshman year, I carried around my laptop in my CNU, setting sail string bag.
Setting sail. Crew 18, swag.
Crew 11. I was Crew 11.
Crew 18 with Alessandra? No, what was her name? She's fantastic. Her name started with an A. Arrivederci, I think.
Arrivederci.
What was Arenvi Belinsky? It wasn't her, but she was one too.
Shout out Arenvi Belinsky, or anybody that knows Arenvi Belinsky if you're listening to this podcast right now. I know there's at least a dozen of you.
I know Sam Jones is I know who that is.
Maybe. Sam Jones is younger than us.
Oh, you're right.
And Arenvi Belinsky was older than us.
But I think 1 year older than us, and Sam is one.
Potentially. I bet Jillian Hobbs knows Arenvi Belinsky.
Is Jillian Hobbs listening to this?
Almost certainly.
Sometimes when we say things, I hope that the app that I use to make the little previews will pick that sentence, because I don't.
And you can get a little audiogram that says, Jillian Hobbs, I hope you're listening to this. What's up?
Right.
No, Jillian Hobbs, I believe, is starting a true crime podcast.
Rock on.
Jillian Hobbs and Jessica Almanesso, I would assume. I just got followed by the crime dossier.
Oh, that's such a
Twitter.
good name.
And because I'm assuming it is they're replacing the dating dossier with.
I loved the dating dossier, but then there was a COVID-19, and
it got really hard to go on dates.
Yeah. Although I'm not single, neither are you. But a friend of mine has been going on dates via Zoom.
Sorry. Better name. The Deadly Dossier.
Oh, even better. A friend of mine has been going on dates via Zoom, and she'll post on Facebook about it and be like,
the Deadly Dossier from the WB
she'll be like,
account.
This was my second Zoom date with the guy, which this is a pet peeve of mine. I understand that there's no other way to do it, but I want you to just tell me his name. I get why you can't do that either, but I don't want you write just the boy or the guy. Still a pet peeve.
Timothy Chablagoo.
But she'd be like, when I'm on a second Zoom date, and he taught me how to make pancetta and risotto. Those are both carbs, but that's awesome. Keep your spoon in the pan the whole time.
Did you say those are both carbs?
Yes.
Hey, bro, there's a panoramic on. You can eat carbs if you want to.
Also, I don't think I know what pancetta is. Pasta, right? Yeah. Oh no, pancetta is. I'm sure it's carbs, but it's pork belly. I
didn't know what pancetta was yesterday when I said it, so I know the hell you don't know what it is because you're saying because I said it yesterday.
I mean, I cook, so I feel like I should know.
You said I cook.
Wait, you don't cook? I cook.
I cook, but you said it like it was like your Emerald Lagasse.
Pancetta.
Boy, you make a pretty good breakfast casserole. Don't come out of your lane here.
3 years ago, before there was the pancetta, and I had to cook every meal for 3 mouths. How many mouths are in my house? 3. 3.5. We'll say 3 1/3. Plus,
I'll tell you what, nobody likes food like your dogs like food.
Nobody likes food like Stella.
Like Stella. Stella's an extremely chill dog.
Until
it's dinner time.
Stella's dinner time at 2 and at 4 and
until
at 8.
Stella has decided it's dinner time.
Yeah. Then it's give me food I actually meant to tell you that like you can feed her as much as you want, but only feed her the dog food twice a day. Of course, we didn't have the other thing, so if you fed her dog food over and over again, it's fine.
I didn't. I fed her dog food twice a day.
Oh man, you are much stronger willed than I am.
Correct. Yeah, I don't feed other people's dogs. Okay, like I get to deal with this constantly when I go visit Caitlin's parents. Right, they have 2 little Dachshund mini pin mixes. Sweetest little guys. They're not that sweet. They're actual like demon terrors. But they're cute. They're adorable. They're just little guys. They're bigger than Sawyer, but they're just little guys. And they have decided that I'm the one that's going to feed them. Now I've been going there for a long time. I've never fed them once.
The dogs have decided this, or Caitlin's family?
The dogs have decided this. They'll choose somebody at dinner time and like sit next to that person and be like, you're the one we've decided is going to feed us tonight. And it's never me.
You got French fries. I got a mouth.
Like I walked in the first time and they were like, hey, just by the way, don't feed the dogs people food. They get very upset tummies and they will poop everywhere. And I was like,
do poop everywhere.
And I was just like, okay, got it. Took that as like the gospel truth, right? Figured if I feed the dog, it's gonna, because I heard a horror story of Caitlin's sister's boyfriend feeding the dog and then pooing all over his Air Force Ones.
Well, this is why I don't bring my Air Force Ones to my girlfriend's parents. I don't have a girlfriend, but to my wife's parents' house. That's not true. My brother-in-law. This is a fun fact about my brother-in-law. He has like 300 pairs of Jordans. Anyway, on with the story.
Air Force Ones are not Jordans.
I know.
Okay, just make sure you know that.
I'm familiar. Michael Jordan. His shoes are not Nikes.
Well, they are made by Nike, but yeah. So I don't feed the dogs. It's like they said, hey, don't feed the dogs. So I just still don't feed the dogs, and like they get enough people food from the other people in the house who feed the dogs, and so I'm just like, you know that one of the girls is going to feed them. These dogs know this, but they look at me. They sit next to me. Like I'm not the one.
Do you look like somebody who's giving food off your plate to other people?
Apparently, people seem to think this all the time.
So you watch my dogs, and you only fed them twice a day?
Yeah, I fed them twice a day.
So we have a system worked out with her vet where she can eat low sodium cans of veggies literally whenever she wants.
Okay.
But we ran out before you came, and I didn't have time to go get more, so I just didn't tell you about it.
I could have picked some up. That probably would have made my life easier. She was very mad at me most of the time.
Around 2 p.m.
Around 2 p.m., yeah. She would go from sleeping to squeaking.
Thank you, by the way. I don't know if I said thank you for coming and watching my dogs, but I very much appreciate you doing that.
Hey, it's no problem.
I hope you liked this house. I hope you liked my guest bed.
I do like your guest bed. Your guest bedroom has the opposite problem as it had in the old house.
And that it's cold.
It's very cold.
Very cold.
It's very cold.
I think in the summer it'll be very hot, so it's got that going.
I don't know though. Maybe. That's like being cold. I think is like a frog room thing.
Yeah, but in the summer, the hot air will go into the garage, and then it'll be like, oh, gotta go up.
Right, but the wind will also go into the garage.
It's windy in summer.
It's always windy. You live on top of a hill.
I do.
Let me tell you, it was windy one night while you were gone, and your house makes a lot of noise.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. All I hear is
just like
dog
house
crying
noises.
And baby crying and wife crying and me crying. All I hear is tears.
I did not cry.
No?
No.
Maybe if you borrowed one of my books. And
I did spend the first night there completely by myself with the dogs, which was terrifying.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like out in the middle of nowhere in an unfamiliar house that's making a bunch of noise at me. Hey, I don't know if you know this. I've like been through some shit in the last couple months.
This house is safe.
Like, but like I'm still not 100% put together right now. Like I haven't spent a whole lot of nights alone, and I've spent very few nights alone in someone else's house.
You had Stella. She's a guard dog.
Yeah.
The intruder would come in and Stella would be like, feed me.
Yeah, the intruder would come in with a can of low sodium veggies. And she'd be like, hi, you're my best friend. They haven't fed me any low sodium veggies in the last 5 days.
Give me the food.
Yeah, so I fed him when I woke up, and I fed him at dinner time. That was it.
That's insane. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But she just, as long as I'm working from home, I have to.
Oh, yeah. Like, if she had started in on me while I was, like, recording, I'd have been like, yeah, here's a bagel, my dude. Like, go for it.
Here's some pizza bagels.
Here's an everything. Yeah, here's 11 bagel bites. See you later.
Enjoy.
She's so noisy.
She is. She just
chirps.
You think that like it happened tonight where she comes in here and I'm like, if I pet her,
No.
she'll sit quietly.
No.
She just cries more.
She's so sweet though.
Did they sleep on the bed?
She did. He did not.
Really?
He wouldn't use the puppy stairs.
Yeah, he can't figure him out. You got to pick him up.
I was not picking him up. I I don't particularly want them to sleep on the bed. Not really my thing. But Stella was just like, I'm gonna sleep on the bed.
She loves this bed.
You keep throwing me off, I'm gonna come up. And without fail, I'd wake up in the morning and she'd be right there next to me. And Sawyer would be sleeping in his bed, glaring at me, just like,
I could have been on that
let
bed
me up.
too.
And like I tried to show him how to use the puppy stairs. He wouldn't use the puppy stairs. He would like walk across the top of him and be like, what is this nonsense? And I would set him down on the puppy stairs and he would walk up them and then just be incapable of doing that.
That's so funny.
So that was my deal. I was like, dude, if you can get up the puppy stairs, you can sleep on the bed.
He's so cute. He's my buddy. He sleeps under the covers with me. Stella sleeps in my closet.
So yeah, we would throw Stella off the bed and she would like put herself to bed for 5 minutes and then be like, time to get back on the bed.
She loves that memory foam mattress though. If I leave this door open and it's like bedtime, she's like, I'm sleeping in there. That's awesome.
It's also cold.
It's also chilly and awesome. She sticks her head into it. It's the best. How long have we been doing this episode for?
An hour and I don't know, 15 minutes.
I was just looking at the full audacity. I've got 122.
I've got 123, but we did talk for 10 straight minutes.
I know. I just didn't know how long we've been recording because you said you were going to be up until 3 in the in antemeridium.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will be. I don't know. It's all good, man. It happens. So that's work. That's working as a freelancer, right? Like sometimes it happens.
Some days you do nothing.
Some days I do nothing. Some days I do everything. I'm bad at time management.
Dude, I'm bad at time management. You know this very well about me. I just came back from a vacation where my mom and I went hiking in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, the Great Smoky Mountains. I got a sticker that has Bigfoot on it, and it doesn't quite stick to my laptop the way that I wanted it to. Very upset about it. Anyway, while in the Great Smoky Mountains, my mom was like, I was talking to your sisters-in-law the other day, and they were like... That's not how my mom talked. And she was like, and they were commenting on your amazing time management skills. You fit so much into a day. And I was like, you were talking to who? About me?
Me? Me, Tyler Carlin.
My time management skills. Mom, I don't even know what day of the week it is. This is a fun fact if you know me well. If you've sent me an email and you're like, Tyler, will you get back to me about my podcast? Know that it's weighing on me more than it's weighing on you.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, my assumption is that you're like, you sent me that email, but you're more important than me. And you were like, man, maybe I'll get back to it, maybe you won't. I read that email and I'm like, I have to come up with the perfect response.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's like, people are like, how do you have 96 unread text messages? I'm like, I've read them. I know what they say. I'm not responding to them yet.
I have to think about
I will eventually respond to them. And what will happen is somebody will text me back and be like, hey man, just check in on this. And I got to come up with I'm so sorry. XYZ.
Per my last email.
Yeah. This is why. And they're always like, yeah, totally cool, man. Just needed to know stuff.
Take your time.
This one dude that bought a copy of my book exactly 3 hours after my mom died and sent me a really nasty email yesterday that was just like, hey, F face. He didn't call me an F face, but he was just very mad at me that he hadn't got his book yet. And I was like, dude, straight up missed your email. Missed the email telling me you bought one. My bad. Sending it out today. Like had a couple things going on. Bad timing.
It's a one-man operation.
Yeah, and he hit me back and he was like, this is pretty unprofessional. And I'm like, I don't care. Sorry.
Sometimes things are unprofessional.
Sorry,
okay?
dude. Like, you bought a photo book from an artist. Be all right.
There's no words in it. You don't have to, there's no narrative. I mean, there's a narrative. But
I was about to say. Slow your roll there.
There's how many images are it? There's that many times 1,000 words in it.
Yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, I've always so my dream for most of my youth was to be a college professor. This wasn't like a real dream, but I wanted to be a college professor who taught photography or like art appreciation, and just like on day one be like, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Here's a picture. Write 1,000 words. And like, I've wanted to do that my whole life. Has anybody ever had that assignment? I think it's the best.
I'm sure that plenty of people have. Like, that's
got to be like the go-to.
Right. Picture's worth 1,000 words. Write me 1,000 words about this picture. And you'll find out very quickly that no picture is worth 1,000 words. Pictures are either worth 100,000 words or, I don't know, like 85.
This is a picture of somebody's Starbucks. It is not particularly interesting.
It's not even that. It's like, I can weave a narrative about a cup of Starbucks, right? But it's 1,000 words is a bunch of words. 1,000 words is almost like most of a day of NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
Like, that's 1,000 words is a lot of words. It's less words than you think, but also more words than you think, right? Like, it's...
So we've been, speaking of writing, speaking of...
What, it's
Maureen's
100
Black
tweets,
Bottom.
probably?
Oh, I could knock out 100 tweets in no time. The other day, Roanoke was trending on Twitter. I think I knocked out 1,500 tweets.
I don't don't think so.
I do know that when I clicked on the Roanoke trending thing, I don't know if it's because it was my profile, but like my tweets were most of the top ones.
Truly your boomeriest moment.
What, tweeting about Roanoke
When
tourism?
you took somebody's joke and was like, I got a shill for tourism.
I gotta get, you got everybody gotta come
Hey,
visit.
you insult my hometown? No way. Not
Not today, not ever.
'Cause, like-
so here's my question for you, Ethan. We were talking about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is a play adapted into a movie. We've been reading a lot of books lately. If you were to write a novel today, do you have an idea?
I'm
Roll one
actively
around?
writing a novel.
Yeah, what's it about?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Can you tell me?
I will
is
tell
there a
you
character-
that. I'm not telling the podcast that.
Is there a character based on me? That's what I want to know.
Not like specifically. I don't think they're gonna like. You read the book and be like, this one's me.
It's not like
I think you are
novel.
inseparable at this point from my story.
So it's not like Rhett and Link's novel where there's Rex and Leaf.
No. No, it's not about like Edgar and
Tommy.
Tommy, yeah. No. It's not like that at all. But yeah, I've known you for so long that the color of the you have left on my experience is inseparable at this point. So all my characters are based on you.
I knew it. An abundance of Tylers.
An abundance of Tylers. Yes.
Do you ever think it's weird? Sometimes I think if John and Hank weren't famous, I would think it's really weird that John's book about dating a bunch of girls with the same name have Hank's wife's name.
I think that's just a complete coincidence.
I think it is too, but if I didn't
there were a lot of people for a while named Catherine.
I know, my mother-in-law's name is Catherine. My daughter's name is Catherine.
Your daughter's middle name is Catherine.
Yes.
Because of your mother-in-law.
Yes. And my aunt. I don't know, man. What am I talking about?
If I
I
write 10 books in my life, I will be unavoidable to use the name Emily.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
Be like, this is a female character, Aragon.
Right, but like if I write 10 books, say if I write 10 like realistic books.
Like YAs?
Yeah, like YA, like not even YAs, just like books about 21st century America, right? Like it is unavoidable that like the fact that you could read an entire book without a character running into somebody named Emily is ridiculous to me.
Right, but like that's his brother's wife's name.
I don't think they were married.
I don't know. It's the one where John is like, I can do math.
Yeah, he had like a resident mathematics expert.
Speak of the devil and she shall appear. Say hello to the podcast, Stella.
Okay, I take it all back. And a bunch of Catherines came out in the same year that Hank and Catherine Green got married.
That's a little bit weird, right? That's a little bit weird. Like he was up there doing his best man speech and he was like, hi, I'm John Green. I think I'm going to die of C. div. And I wrote a book about your wife.
I don't think that's true though. Like it's just about people named Catherine, right? Like it's an extremely
Hi.
common name, and he writes a book about.
Hold on. I have to do the John Green timbre. Hi, I'm John Green. And I've got 4 things I want to say. 1, you're marrying a woman named Catherine. 2,
You're
I wrote
marrying
a
a
book
woman
about
named Catherine. Isn't that crazy?
He does lists a lot. That's the big thing. And my poof is unbelievable right now that you're marrying a woman named Catherine. I've got strawberry wine handy. I stole cigarettes from the Eagle.
Yeah, he wrote. You're just referencing Looking for Alaska, like the other book.
You know, when you first met Catherine, all I could think about was Oslo, New York. Oslo, New York is a very famous town because it's a paper town.
Aglo.
Aglo! I listened to that yesterday.
Did you really?
I listened to his TED Talk about it.
Oh.
I didn't, yeah.
I was like, you're listening to Paper Towns right now?
No, I'm listening to The Name of the Wind right now. Everything else I finished. Well, I have some eyeball books and Name of the Wind.
About halfway through Aragon.
Nice.
It's pretty good. It has held up.
I'm curious to read this. And the other day, somebody was like, "You remember Pendragon?" I was like, "Yes, no."
I read all of those books in like 2017.
Really?
Yeah, like listened to all of them. All 10
Like
of them.
during the podcast, you were like, "Hold on, let me pause watching the MCU."
Maybe
Let's
right
check out
before?
Pendragon.
Maybe right before. It was either 2016 or 2017. I was working in Yorktown at State Farm. Because I have vivid memories of like listening to them on Outback in my car on my lunch break.
On Outback.
No, like Outback of the office.
Oh, I was like, you drove a Subaru, or you were Outback of an Outback Steakhouse, or you were on top of an Outback Steakhouse, which is also a parking garage.
Why
Or
would
you had like a Casio Outback.
a Casio? What is a Casio Outback?
It's like a Walkman, but like
You've never heard of that audiobook service called Outback?
I know.
No,
Actually,
actually,
there are other audiobook services out there that like occasionally I get emails and they'll be like, "Hey, you should try our service." And I'm like, "No,
I did
I give the Bezos service."
I did torrent all of the Pendragon books on audiobook
Nice,
because I didn't
You
have the
can't-
money to buy 10 books in a month.
You can't listen to them at 1.5 if you torrented them.
I wasn't listening to them at 1.5 back then.
Have you graduated from 1x? Are you at 1.5 on everything now?
No.
Oh,
Why would I be?
I don't know. I might slow down Name of the Wind. I really want it to be over so that I can be like, I finished this hard book. But at the same time, I'm like, I really need to listen to this at a normal speed because I can't follow it at all.
I think I listened to the max I listened to The Wise Man's Fear was 1.3
I was doing Name of the Wind at 1.5 today.
because he gets real slow at the end. He meets like a group of people that talk real slow for like the third of that book. So I bumped it up a little bit because I was like, this is just Zootopia. Like I cannot.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Do we have listener reviews?
I don't know. You forgot to ask for them on Discord. Sorry, Discord.
78 of 100. I haven't read this review yet. If it's terrible, then I'm so sorry. Liam 2.0 says, if you can make it through long patches of nothingness, you're in for extremely compelling monologues that transport you to other worlds, despite the characters being trapped in a building. I especially loved how the plot almost played out in real time, assisting the movie in its grandiose themes. Oh, I can say grandiose better. Grandiose themes. I loved it. Chadwick Boseman was perfect. Crying emoji. Instead of crying laughing, it's just crying.
Crying emoji.
I want to amend that. Give it an 85 out of 100 for me. Cool. 7-point bump. I also have a second review here from Double Teddy Trouble. Into the guillotine.
Let me be your killer king.
95 out of 100. I'm probably late, but I went into this movie knowing it was Chadwick Boseman's final performance and there was jazz involved. It was blues. That is to say, I was sold from the start, but the ending left me shook and thinking a lot more than the average movie. The characters were stellar and I felt the tension build throughout.
The tension.
So I know you said you didn't like the stabbing, and that's fine. I'm all with that. I thought it was gonna be a gunshot. I knew one of them was gonna die. I thought it was gonna be a gunshot. I didn't think it was gonna be a stabbing. I thought it was gonna be the trombone player, not the pianist. But such is life.
I think there's a very interesting version of this out there somewhere, and I think you could stage an interesting version of this. Not like, I mean, obviously you wouldn't rewrite this, but
With
I think
aliens.
what?
With aliens?
No, I think there's a version of this where Ma Rainey isn't a character.
We use all the green room.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that'd be very interesting adaptation.
Yeah, and like she can be sort of referenced in that like the
Oh, she'd be talking. Yeah, be talked about all the time. They would keep coming in and being like, "You guys got any idea where Ma is?
Right.
Why is she
And
not
then
here?"
the
And they get
producer would be like-
the producers get progressively more and more mad at them.
Right.
And she never shows up. Right. It's like waiting for Godot or whatever.
Right. But once he pulled the knife out, I mean, I knew well before it, but once he pulled the knife out, I was like, somebody's dying.
Yeah, Chekhov's knife or whatever.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a gunshot or like an alien thing. I thought there was a small part of me that was like, aliens are about to invade.
I do believe some of these plays in this cycle are like supernatural.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, or like paranormal. Like they have some sort of like.
Oh, I thought you meant like the TV show.
No, why would I mean the TV show?
Can you freaking imagine?
It's like the struggle of the black man in America is represented by Sam and Dean Winchester.
Monster of the week. The monster is the white man. What it is.
Yeah.
And then I have one more listener review from Discord. 80 out of 100. The most wonderful Claire says, I always enjoy watching more play adaptations. Great to learn about people who don't look like me. Some parts weren't perfect, but I liked the story. I thought it was all perfect. Viola Davis deserves the Oscar for this one. 100%. I'll be upset if she doesn't get it.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen anything that would rival this
Yeah.
in any category.
And granted, Golden Globe, like Best Picture nominations came out, and I had heard of almost none of them.
Yeah, this got one, I think.
I hope so, but I don't really care for the Golden Globes.
I don't
so,
either. They're really dumb.
Too commercial.
Golden Globe nominations. Let's see what they.
More of an Oscars guy.
I'm definitely more of an Oscars guy. Let's see what
Well,
they
yeah,
cooked up
100%,
though.
but-
Best motion picture drama. It did not make it on the list.
Did Sonic the Hedgehog make it?
No, you got The Father. Oh, Mank was supposed to be really good. I wanted to watch that one.
Is that like the TV show Monk?
No.
That was a cult favorite when it was on television. And now I don't know a single person who posts about it on Tumblr.
I don't know anybody who posted anything about Tumblr. I do really like Monk though.
Monk.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of Nomadland and I've heard of Promising Young Woman. I have not heard of The Trial of Chicago 7.
Nomadland was sweet.
What'd you say?
I heard Nomadland was
Same.
sweet.
I've heard it's the front runner for sure.
Yeah.
Viola Davis got a nomination for this for best performance by an actress in a motion picture.
Yep.
Carey Mulligan got a nomination for Promising Young Woman. I just watched a Carey Mulligan movie called The Dig on Netflix. It was all right.
I watched Sarah Chalk.
It was really pretty, but
Firefly
not
Lane.
that great. Chadwick Boseman also got a nomination for this.
I freaking hope so. He
Chadwick
killed
Boseman's
it.
up against Riz Ahmed, Anthony Hopkins, and Gary Oldman. That's a good list.
What about the Snyder Cut? Where's that?
It's not out yet.
Are we covering the Snyder Cut?
No, absolutely not. Best motion picture, musical or comedy. You got Hamilton, Borat, subsequent movie film, music, Palm Springs, and The Prom.
Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton got a
Got a Golden Globe at least.
Golden Globe nomination.
It's not part of the EGOT, so it doesn't really matter. But he's gonna get his Oscar this year. So does he have the Oscar?
Lin-Manuel? No, that's the one
Yeah.
he needs.
Oh yeah, he's got it. It's in the bag.
I mean, I definitely know these names that are nominated for the Golden Globes. Like the people that needed to come out to make the successful awards year happen definitely came out. I don't know what these movies are, but
It's not one of those years where it's like Quentin Tarantino and
gonna hear a lot about. Sounds like we're gonna hear a lot about Mank. Gonna hear a lot about this. Gonna hear a lot about The Father come Oscar season.
well, I guess I need to watch those. Although like a few years ago, 8th grade led every category going into actual Oscar season, like all the other award shows, and then it wasn't nominated for a single thing.
Yeah, this isn't any other year though. I'll tell you this:
true.
best performance by an actor in a supporting role. You got Sacha Baron Cohen, Daniel Kaluuya, Jared Leto, Bill Murray, and Leslie Odom Jr. And I've seen none of these movies.
Leslie Odom Jr. guaranteed.
For One Night in Miami, Bill Murray for On the Rocks, Jared Leto for The Little Things, Daniel Kaluuya in Judas and the Black Messiah, which sounds awesome.
I think Hollywood's done with Jared Leto.
I don't think they are.
I gotta stop putting him in stuff. When I say Hollywood, I mean me.
The Trial of Chicago 7 is an Aaron Sorkin movie, apparently.
Oh, maybe we should watch that.
Yeah, maybe.
Aaron Sorkin, he likes to put Jeff Daniels and stuff, right?
Yeah, he put Jeff Daniels in The Newsroom.
We should watch more Jeff Daniels movies, is what I'm trying to pitch.
Okay. Well, we're not doing it next week or the week after that.
I know. We have announcements for next week and the following week. Next week, we are covering Cinderella 2012. No?
Not 2012.
Really? Rodgers and Hammerstein?
Yeah, no, that's the old one, I'm pretty sure. The Brandy one. If it's not that one, I don't want to cover it.
Not Rodgers and Hammerstein. That's 1957 with Julie Andrews. I want to watch the one with the black girl.
Yeah, it's 97.
97. Okay.
You got none of the numbers right. None of them. That's the one I want to watch. It's the only one I care about. Not because it's Black History Month. That's the only one I've ever cared about.
I didn't know it was 1997.
Yeah, it's old, dude. It's got young Whoopi Goldberg.
I'm excited. I've never
Whitney
seen
Houston's in it. I don't think she was
got
alive in 2012.
George is in it.
Jason Alexander and
Yeah.
Victor Garber and Whoopi Goldberg.
I'm excited. I did not know.
Oh yeah, no, this movie absolutely slaps.
This is Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah.
There's two Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Well, they wrote Cinderella. Pretty sure.
The grim fairy tales.
Okay, but they wrote the
Cinderella.
musical. So you've never seen this adaptation? Oh man, it's so good. This
I don't
is
really
the one I
know
grew
the
up on.
original either.
What?
I don't really know the original either.
Oh, I don't know the original. It's a 1957 movie musical. I've either seen it or I haven't.
No, the animated one is the one. I don't know.
Oh yeah, couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Didn't grow up on that one. Grew up on this one.
On the animated princess movies, I haven't seen Sleeping Beauty, Snow White. What's the one with Maleficent? Is that Snow White?
Yeah.
Or Sleeping Beauty? They both fall asleep, right?
Not really sure. I've seen Snow White. I don't think I've seen Sleeping Beauty.
They're under 90 minutes.
Or
so
the
there's no
Swan
reason why
Princess or whatever.
I don't think. Who's Aurora? Sleeping Beauty?
I think so.
Oh, I haven't seen most of the old ones.
Yeah, I don't really care to either. If my child wants to watch them, I'll watch them. But I don't currently have a child.
Well, yeah, I'll watch them with Olivia, obviously. Snow White, no. Sleeping Beauty, no. Cinderella, no. And then it's Little Mermaid. I've seen that. Obviously, Beauty and the Beast, I've seen that. Aladdin, yes. Pocahontas, yes. Mulan, yes. Princess and the Frog, yes. Tangled, yes. Frozen, yes. Moana, yes. No, Frozen's not a princess movie. They're their own thing.
Yeah, I'd rather show my future daughter Frozen and Moana than The Little Mermaid, for sure.
Yeah. Although there's a new Little Mermaid that I'm super excited about.
Yeah, but we're talking about animated ones.
Right.
The princess movies.
Right. If it's just the three of these, I think I could knock these out in an afternoon.
I mean, if you want to, go for it. Nobody's stopping you.
Me is stopping me.
I'm not covering them. So, I will cover the 1997 Rodgers and Hammerstein musical.
Cinderella.
They're releasing that on Disney Plus.
On Thursday today for you, listener, or maybe tomorrow.
Friday, the 12th.
12th.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can wrap the show.
Yeah, we can. Bye.
No, don't buy. Hold on really quick before you go. If you're listening to this the week it came out, then on Friday night, Saturday morning from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., Ethan and I will be participating in the Project for Awesome, representing the Roanoke Diversity Center, which gives money and safety and opportunities to LGBTQ youth in Roanoke. And we'll be representing that for the Project for Awesome. And we'll be on the live stream, the 48-hour live stream from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Please stop in the middle of the night and hang out with us. We'll also be with Jordan Balky. She'll be asking us questions, and we'll be keeping it spicy.
Keeping it spicy. We will also be representing WB&E, a podcast network that, does its best to help all podcasters and also, LGBTQ podcasters help find their voice.
Yeah, really help anybody find their voice. But yeah, we focus on all of those things, and we're super excited about the whole thing. So come hang out with us. It'll be me and Ethan and Jordan from Late to the Party, and it's going to be just a super good time.
3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in California, you're in luck. It's like midnight for you.
I know, party on.
Party on. If you're in England, good morning.
Good morning. Really, it's the best time
I better
slot.
see Seamus Gorman in the chat.
Seamus is asleep at 9 a.m. Guaranteed.
Oh, he'll make an exception for us.
But that is what we are doing this weekend. We love to see you in the chat hanging out. I have no idea how it works, but come ready to donate. We're very excited.
There's links in the description, p4a.org.
Yep. Additionally, new show to WBNE this week, Perspective Z. You heard the preview at the beginning. Basically, it's a podcast of two fantastic, extremely smart young women. It's just giving their perspective on the world.
Extremely smart.
Extremely smart. They are Zoomers, and they give me context for why middle parts are in.
I don't have any desire to... I don't think I could have a center part if I tried to, but yeah, I'm not interested. Center parts look bad on almost everybody.
I look great
as far as dudes go. I mean...
I look like a bully in like a movie about band camp in the early 2000s.
I just want to be 100 with you. It's not your best look.
It's because it doesn't curl on both sides. It's
because you have hair to be side parted. You've been side parting it for long enough that like it does that now.
Yeah,
but I'm not on board with like super long hair.
Oh, you got a problem with my super long hair?
Yeah, I do.
It's not that long. I can barely see. I also have a giant head though, so who knows?
I mean, obviously do whatever you want. Don't listen to me. But like, it's not my favorite. This isn't my favorite look we've ever had. Like, we're going back to baggy jeans and middle parts. I'm not interested.
If you've been reading along with Bacon and Eggs and you read The Hate You Give in January, that's awesome. I totally didn't read it. But in February, the Bacon and Eggs and Sincerely Us book challenge is reading Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. You can't see it, but I'm holding up this really nice illustrated copy.
You are indeed.
If you look here, there's words, but here, there was an illustration.
There was. I'm a little concerned as to who that illustration is supposed to be. He is the real thing.
This is an illustration of the mines of Khazad-dûm.
That's an illustration. I don't know what that'd be an illustration of. I can guess, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I don't want to know. I want no context going in. I haven't started it yet. I don't know. I have nothing else to say.
Me either. Oh, we got to do scores.
Oh, schnoot.
Hang on. We don't have many because not a lot of people have seen this movie. So give me a second.
You work on that. I'll work on this. I give it 100. Ethan gave it a 94 or 95?
95.
Rotten Tomato gave it 98, 98, 76. Metacritic 87. And then listener score is all I'm missing. But just to recap the scores, if anybody's playing along at home, I give it a 100, Ethan a 95. Rotten Tomatoes, double check that. Yeah, 98%. Metacritic an 87, and the Rotten Tomatoes audience score is 76. Our listener score for this episode is...
Hang on.
Hold on.
90.3, so 90.
90. Woo! Shoo doggy. That gives it a Bacon and Eggs score of 94.1, which is just a 94. Tiebreaker rounds down. Ethan.
Yeah.
This beats Return of the King.
Heck yeah, it does.
Oh, that's exciting.
Still haven't found anything to break up the Lord of the Rings movies yet.
Black Bob. 94.1 is very close. Return of the King is a 93.9. So
so it's a tiebreaker win.
Yes, it is. By 2/10.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liam 2.0, for amending your score.
Yeah, I know, right? And Ethan for amending your score, because if you didn't, I don't think it would have won. Or for finalizing your score. We've reviewed a lot of movies this year, 19 so far. Top of the list, still It's a Wonderful Life. Bottom of the list, still The Santa Claus. And
a nice Christmas bookend there that will probably remain for a long time.
Knocked out of the top 10 is Hearts Beat Loud and Shrek.
Wild.
Last week. Yeah. I forgot we did War Games. Do you remember that?
That was like
That's
2 weeks ago.
Dream. Yeah, I know, but I mean, that could have been anybody covering that.
Anyway, our music is by Vaishon Brandon. Our graphics are by... Nope. Our music is by Andrew Scott Bell. Our graphics are by Vaishon Brandon. If you want information from either of them, you go to andrewscottbellmusic.com to request some music to be composed for you, or you can go to graphite.vmb on Instagram, or really just Graphite. Just search Vaishon and find him. He will do stuff for you. It's awesome. Does great work. Yeah, this episode has been brought to you by Perspective Z. Thank you to them for joining the Bacon or the WBNE Podcast Network. I can't talk
If you have a show and you want to join the network, hit up the little thing in the top right corner of our website, WBNE.org.
Yeah, that's in the description as well. Anyway, I've been Ian He's been Tyler Carlin. Until next time, arrivederci.
A 1, a 2, you know what to do.
Bye, Tennies. It's been great spending this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful
lot of time.
A wonderful Thursday.
I hope you enjoy it.
Bye. Gotta stop.